Um, Third year, maybe it's definitely 3 at least.
Nobody could hear me. Yep, I fixed that. Yep. I realized I was muted in OBS. So I'll start again. For those of you screaming at me in capital letters, you can't hear me. Yes, I know. You don't need to keep repeating it. Yeah, I was muted in OBS. I had forgotten to press the unmute button in OBS, but we are good now. So, I'll start again. Take 2 and action. So, welcome everybody to this very well prepared, rehearsed and planned episode of Songwriting Simplified with me, Jonny Lipsham, here at jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk, and I have the inevitable Rich Cresswell with me as well. And tonight is results night for our Halloween Songwriting contest, which we are in the 3rd year, I think, of running. As Rich said, you heard him say that. So we're very excited to unveil who our winner is tonight. But before we get to that point, I think it would be good if we could kind of just spend some time just reviewing this year's challenge and what we all thought about it, and what we thought of the entrance that we got this year. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I think it'd be neat. Be interesting to know if anybody would like to have some feedback.
Yeah.
About their music. There's going to be no sort of negativity. It's all going to be like positive and
Yeah.
Sort of saying, let's look at working in this direction or something like that. I think it's definitely useful to get feedback in a positive way without sort of going away feeling butthurt about it.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do. The whole point of this challenge is to encourage people to do more music and to get songs finished.
Definitely. So, yes, as Rich says, if you want feedback, we would be delighted to give you some feedback on your entries, because we've made some notes on your songs and what we thought. So we're happy to give you that. And it's all going to be positive because, I think even if somebody says to you, hey, this needs worked on, this needs developed, that's a much better way than saying, no, this is just wrong. Or this is just awful. That saying something is wrong or saying that it's awful, I don't think helps anybody. It doesn't help you get better at your craft. It doesn't help you get better at songwriting. Whereas if we can say, hey, these are some good elements, but these things, on the other hand, are probably overshadowing those good things, and you would do well to develop on this or maybe curtail certain things. I'll give you an example. For example, when I was younger, much younger, because I started writing songs and writing music just in general when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I was a kid doing it because, my parents are professional musicians, and so I grew up kind of on the road with them and playing gigs with them. So I would write songs for them to perform, and I'd write arrangements for them to perform as well. And in my young years, the thing that I used to do a lot was I would throw a lot of different things, a lot of different elements into a song. So they would be way too busy. There'd be too much going on. I'd have a main melody, but the main melody would end up getting crowded out by, 3 different counter melodies and, multiple layers of extraneous harmony parts that just weren't needed. And so I thought they were great. I thought, hey, this is fantastic. This sounds awesome. This sounds marvelous. Until the musicians started to play it. And then I started going, why does this not sound like I wrote it? And it wasn't because the musicians were bad. It was because what I was giving them, I was throwing everything, including the kitchen sink and the plunger and the toilet seat at them, metaphorically. And then expecting, something that sounds like a Motown record to come out. It's not going to happen. And it didn't happen. But it took me a while to learn that, that axiom that everyone talks about, which is less is more. And I learned that the best way for me to grow and develop is to, when I'm writing the song, throw everything at it and then start taking things away until I end up with what I ultimately need to have musicians to perform. So I now am very good at doing that, to the point where I actually don't throw everything at my songs anymore. I'm already doing that in my head before I get to recording anything. So what I end up with is that stage that I used to go through when I was younger of throwing everything at it and then taking things away. I actually don't do the throwing everything at it anymore because I have learned and I realized I don't need to do that. And actually that's counterproductive. So, but I had to be told. Notepad.
These 2 things are the most powerful things that you have in your arsenal.
Yes, definitely.
A notepad and a pen.
I have mine, and I have this one as well. So I have notepad and pen. And so everything gets done that way before it even gets anywhere near a computer or a microphone. But it took me a while to learn that, and I had to be told. And it took people who are professional arrangers when I was a kid basically saying to me, hey, you know what? If these things are actually good, but if you stripped a lot of them away, then the main melody would get heard and the lyrics would get heard. At the moment, they're being kind of strangled out. So I had to learn how to do what gardeners do, which is prune. In order to allow the rose bush to grow, you have to prune it. And so I learned how to do that. And now that's something I'm very, very good at. So that's my little lesson that I learned.
Yeah, I think it's important to listen to what you're doing. I think it's important to put down the ideas in the spur of the moment that you feel are appropriate.
Yeah.
But if you need to remove elements, really listen to it and make notes. Writing things down and then going away, taking a walk, go and make a coffee, go and deal with the kids, the grandkids, or whoever it might be, and just escape away from it and then come back, review your notes and listen back and see if you agree with what you thought the first time round. You'll sort of train yourself to make much more litigious decisions, and you'll be in a situation where you're making fewer mistakes. Mistakes are okay because sometimes they can work to your benefit. They stretch you sometimes when you sort of destructively edit something, and maybe you've got to approach it again, so there's negative things that can happen in the process that you should always just try to bat away and keep plugging at the piece of music you're doing. But it is sort of an overused phrase, less is more, but
it is.
I think there's a reason why it's overused. And if we want to do some feedback, on the music that was submitted now, because I've been making a note of those that are okay with it
Cool.
thus far. So just confirm here, but Carl Keith, the winner's going to get critiqued anyway. So whoever it happens to be. I know Brett's already said he's cool with it, and Ron's cool with it too.
Yep, Ron said yes. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, in regards to Ron's piece, if you've listened to it, it's a piano piece, and it's spooky as all hell.
Oh hell yes.
It's really creepy. It's it's very there was a really cool sort of Exorcist reference in there.
Yeah, we both chuckled when that popped out. Yeah, we got that.
And a demonstration of less is more was having the sparseness and doing it all with a single instrument. It was really, really a strong piece, considering that it was just a single instrument. I think if you were to listen to Ron's piece, he'll tell you, "I'm not a mixer, I'm not a producer, I'm a band guy. I play in bands, but you all know that he understands his music theory and he understands arrangement, and should do more of it. I think, obviously assuming 100%. That he wanted to. But it was I don't know if obviously there was a little bit of reverb on the piano, but I didn't detect anything like, any compression or any EQing or anything like that. It was just very natural and sounded very, very crisp and clear. And I think sometimes we reach for tools like compressors and EQs and stuff, when sometimes just put the goddamn thing down. You don't need to use it every single time on every single channel.
100%.
And, yes, it might seem like the right thing to do, but is it the right thing? And that's where the pen and paper comes in. So I thought that was a really strong entry by Ron. It was very difficult to criticize that piece because it's a single instrument. It was just a natural piece of music, and that's about as organic as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I noticed that Brett had done a piece in his sort of unique take on sort of industrial bass-driven music, and it was super industrial, and it was very Hellraiser. It was a very good ode to Clive Barker, and there was lots of little influences in there, like White Zombie. I was picking up little bits off, Nine Inch Nails, a little bit of, Marilyn Manson-esque elements. And it was just overall very, very, very dark, and it had dark. That very Hellraiser-y kind of, grittiness to it, which I thought was very cool. There was a bit in it where I thought it would have been better to have the guitars come forward.
Yeah.
There was a sort of a rhythmic element that came in with the guitars about sort of halfway to 2/3 in, and that would have just made the piece just like really pop. Now again, that might just be because there's a compressor in the way that's holding it back. And sometimes certainly in an important part of the music, say a chorus or something like that, sometimes it's just good to back off that compressor and let the music sort of just breathe naturally.
Bit of automation,
especially on your main instruments, and definitely higher instruments like cymbals on drums and stuff like that. Just back off that compressor and let them just be natural. But it was a really good piece, and it was really dark and creepy. And like I say, if you've ever seen Hellraiser, that stuff's yeah, it's pretty creepy stuff.
Yeah, pretty dark, pretty gothy. Yeah.
And Keith, I mean, the first thing that I wrote in my notes was super fun keys, because we know that's what Keith's kind of known for.
Yep.
The piece that Keith did was quite long, but the thing that we both noted was that because of the arrangement and the way that it was all put together, it was actually just very cool to listen to for 7 minutes. You know, I potentially could have listened to it for another minute. If we'd have let Keith off his chain, he probably would have done a 9-minute piece.
Yeah.
But it was fun to listen to the entire way through. There wasn't anything in it that was boring, or I was like, oh, is that bit over now? I was actually kind of looking forward to the next bit, because if you've heard Keith's piece, there's a lot of singing in it, there's a lot of rhythmic changes, and there's a lot of sort of acting type stuff in there as well. And yeah, I think initially I was looking at it from the perspective of not being an overall sort of a Halloween piece, but I mean, if the subject matter, I think it kind of fits the bill.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the thing I liked about Keith's was it was basically, it was pure musical theatre. And I know that that's something that Keith actually has a tremendous amount of potential for. And so the thing that I thought, from a very, very positive point of view about this particular song, was it to me, it was not just one song, it was more like a suite of different songs kind of dovetailed together. And so for that reason, I thought, actually, and Keith, if you are watching this, this is a very serious point. I think you could expand this song out into a full-blown musical theatre act. Maybe a single act play or something like that. A single act piece of a single act musical. That's what I was trying to say. I was trying to get all my wrongs in the right order there. But yeah, you could certainly turn this one song into the catalyst for a single act musical. And I think it'd be a really good thing for you to do, because you've got characters there that could be developed, and those characters have got stories, and they've got storylines that you kind of started to bring out a wee bit in the song. I think you could expand that all out into something that's both hilarious and dark. So comically dark, into a whole, one act musical. And I think that'd be really great. That would be highly ambitious to attain and to achieve, especially if you've never done it before. But I think you've got sufficient, grasp of how musical theatre works. And, that you've got some acting elements in your performance that would definitely give it some mileage, to the point where you could probably, without really trying very hard, ask some folks to collaborate with you in Studio One Pro Plus, who would not have a problem playing one of your parts, and then you could record it as a one act epic, 20-25 minute epic. I think that would be awesome. So it's going to be the start of an album. There's an entire story to be told as the character is being wheeled to get his frontal lobotomy. There we go. Yeah, so it could be an album, but I think it could also be a one act musical as well. Definitely. And you could get a whole bunch of people to play different parts, for sure.
Yeah. Excellent work. And we had Jaren as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to him in the chat here just, and he said, please feel to critique me and be bloody honest. So we actually, when we listened to that, we actually thought it was a really interesting take on the original piece of music, because it would have been a difficult thing to sort of manipulate with.
Yeah.
The use of the individual elements from the Hag song was very, very cool. Like, I really liked everything. I think there was one thing that I pointed out which I thought was probably a little bit OTT, and I think that was to do with the snare.
Oh, yeah.
And the kick drum.
Yep.
I thought they were a little bit. I don't know whether you used like snare buzz or something from XLN. It sounded like, it was a different snare layered on top, perhaps.
I thought there were layered snare drums.
Yeah, but I just thought it was just a little bit much. But I liked the boldness of it. It was kind of like, screw it, I'm just going to go for it.
And boldness in my book is always a good thing.
Yeah, but the overall sort of tonal character of the sort of, I guess you'd call it a remix, essentially. It was, was very good. So you can tell that you mix music, basically. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can tell you've got an idea of where things should sit in the mix. And I think, it's very, very, very obvious. Mm-hmm. Mix verb, okay, slap back.
Yeah, you could probably have done, therefore, with taking out some of 2K from the reverb with an EQ after it.
Yeah, or if I can't remember if mix verb has the ability to EQ within it.
No.
I don't
mix
know.
verb's really, really simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have it, does it? No, that's the room reverb that has the ability to do a bit more adjustment. We'll try open air. I love open air.
Open air is fantastic.
It's the best reverb in Studio One. And there's some really cool things in there. So if you want that kind of slapbacky sort of sound, there's one called there's an IR called Hallway or Stairwell or something like that.
Yep.
And if you bring off the sort of the tail of the IR, you can get that sort of slap back, but it's more natural.
Yeah.
And you're not hurting your CPU either, by having to dig out something super special, awesome. But yeah, very good overall. Just a couple of little things, and I guess it's subjective. And that is difficult with mixing, I guess, because you make choices based on sort of very limited reference. So I just think overall it was pretty good, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have. I had to dig the snare and the kick drum out from nowhere, really, because everything else was so good.
It was
just I had to pick something to say, hey, let's try and improve on that.
Yeah.
But then if you're not mixing the song or remixing it again, then what does it matter? What's Sean Aaron? Oh, so Sean Aaron's in. He's in for a roasting. So Sean Aaron actually got somebody in to do vocals.
Yes.
So he went a little bit sort of
extra mile,
above and beyond. I don't know how many people did that, but I think it was pretty cool that he was able to get somebody else involved in it that's never done this before. At least the Halloween challenge. I know that the person sang before, but yeah, the vocals were very cool. And the one thing that I really picked out from Sean Aaron's stuff is if you listen to Sean Aaron's, because Sean Aaron's actually won one of these challenges in the past, and with an absolutely cracking Halloween piece, and
with a video,
he's now making use of lots of like different sounds, different synths and that sort of stuff, and you can tell that he's pushing with that at the moment to make use of different things and experiment with different sounds. And I think challenges like this are a good opportunity to do that, because you don't sit down and think, oh, I'm going to write a Halloween song today. No, you have to think about it, and like elements, sound palette, like where's this going? What am I going to use to make it sound creepy or scary or whatever? So it's a good way to sort of flex your muscles, and Shoreland did a great job with that. And I thought the entry from Shoreland was very nice. The only thing, and this is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but you cannot, this is just for Sean Aaron, just for Christmas, if you take part in the Christmas challenge, you cannot use the metal zone for Christmas. That's my only rule. But really stellar, and great singing, and great use of a little bit of drama and stuff towards the end as well.
Yeah,
that was very cool.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to also second about that pedal. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean the vocal was great, and the choice of mic that you used, and the way you kind of crushed it to death, and darkened it up with some distortion was very cool.
It's clever. Yeah. A lot of people,
that was really smart, creative
might
choice.
have access to a pedal board, or you just use the pedals virtually within Studio One to make use of some of the effects there. Brett's put, what if he's doing a Slayer style carol? Yeah.
Find an alternative.
Yeah. Was it the SD1 instead?
SD1, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so I thought everybody had a very good entry.
Yep.
There was a few entries that came in the wrong key.
Yeah, some of the remixing ones.
Yeah, and that was a shame, because if you'd have separated each of the elements, they would have probably actually done pretty well. But as I'm sure you can appreciate, if you've got something in the wrong key and you've got like two pieces of music, it can sound very dissonant. And if that's what you're going for, that's fine, because obviously it is Halloween after all.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of bitonality can be allowed for Halloween. I mean, my piece is bitonal, but the thing with doing something that's bitonal is it's got to be done carefully to make it work. Otherwise, it ends up just being ugly, and it can end up being quite grating on the ears. But bitonality can work. But what you have to do if you're going to do something that's in two keys at the same time is, number one, pick your keys carefully. Number two, then with your harmony, your chord changes, and the actual voices within the chords, you want to be careful about layering up too many minor ninths and major sevenths and things like that. If you've got those kind of consecutively, you get some really ugly crunching that it's not that dissonance is bad. Dissonance is fine, but you can end up with something that's actually unpalatable rather than just crunchy, if you know what I mean. Like, you can go from, even if you're aiming for ghost pepper spice in the spice continuum, even if you're aiming for that ghost pepper spice, you've got to allow your listener to get there. If you just kind of chuck them straight in the deep end of ghost pepper, it's going to be unpalatable. So this is where bitonal music has to be handled carefully. A good example of bitonal music is Saturn from Hosts the Planets suite. listen to that, because there are points where it is both in G major and E flat major at the same time. So those two keys are separated by an interval of a major
third. The thing
is
when things get complicated like that, and I wouldn't expect everybody to know, that side of things, like the back of the hand or anything like this. But if you've got that kind of, overlapping, sort of dissonance with, different keys playing at the same time and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's done very, it's done on purpose,
and
to
with care. Yeah.
express a feeling or a sense of a feeling, and it's done in a way, generally speaking, that sort of gets the listener ready for it.
Yeah, you've got to lead the listener.
Now, it could be as simple as the title of the song, or it could be a melody leading up to the point in which that changes, or it could be an immediate thing where you dropped into it, but then it gives you a little bit of release so that it's not overwhelming, because having to listen to that for long periods of time could get very stressful on your ears because you're not used to listening to it.
Yeah.
But all things aside, I mean, obviously, the only sort of issue, as I say, with a couple of the songs was that they were in the wrong key.
Yeah.
But they were playing against a piece of music that was in another key, so it was sort of overdubbed on the original Hag song.
Right. Yeah.
The only honest thing I can say is it didn't sound great. Yeah. But we live, we learn, and then we move on.
Yeah, you got to try things out and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Does JW want any feedback? Because he's just joined.
Yeah, he's just arrived. Yeah, happy Halloween for tomorrow. He says we don't celebrate Halloween in where he is. And he says, but that's okay. And yep, that is okay. Personally, me, I don't really celebrate Halloween either, particularly, but the kids on our housing development do. So I have to be prepared for that. But yeah, other than that, I don't particularly celebrate it either. But yeah, Juan, really good to see you. Glad you're here. If you'd like some feedback on your song, we will give it to you. Argentina. Yeah. Yes, that's where he is.
Indeed. And I mean, obviously, if you're not into feedback, the one thing I will say is you sang your song in English, and excellent English, sir.
Extremely good. Extremely good. Yeah. I think overall,
does anybody in the chat that's listened to the music, does anybody have their favorites of somebody else's?
Well, that's a good question.
Maybe shout them out and whatnot.
Oh, my pointer apparently is pointing there. Look, I'm gonna poke him right up the nose. There we go. I mean, it was green. It was the right color for picking your nose. Thank you, Dwayne. Yes, if anyone has a favorite from amongst all the entrants, then feel free to let us know what your favorite is and why it's your favorite. Briefly, of course. You only get like 160 characters. Jeren says he liked Sean Aaron's. That's cool. Yeah, we did too. We did too. Yeah. For me personally,
obviously we've got a favorite, but
we do have a favorite.
Just yet. Give it a couple of minutes, maybe.
Yeah, we do have a favorite.
Well, we actually have a couple of favorites.
We do. Yeah, we do. We have more than one favorite. And actually, just on a kind of personal note here, Last year, Rich and I found it quite difficult to agree on uh
Oh
who
yeah, we had like the top three, didn't we? But we
we
had them
did.
in like a different order.
Yes, and it took us a little while to separate. We had to listen through those three a few times before we could actually separate them. Whereas this time, there was no such difficulties.
No. Well, I, s- I say you say that, but I mean, I think there's a couple of the couple of real close ones.
Oh yes,
I think there is.
yeah, and we'll talk about that before we
Yeah.
get to the announcement part. In fact, why don't we do that just now? Why don't we talk about those that were close?
Oh, so you guess we sort of like ease into the whoever the winner is, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Milk it.
Milk it. Exactly. Milk it for all it's worth.
Yeah.
That's what I'd
Well,
do
for
for them.
me, I mean, for me, I think of the ones that were sort of up there, um, and I suppose now we're talking about those that didn't win the top spot,
Yeah.
which sucks. Um, but you should be proud because if I'm mentioning you now, that means you did a good thing.
Yes.
Um, so for me, I really liked, being into a similar sort of music, somewhat. I really liked Brett's entry. I liked the industrialness of it. If the guitars were bigger
Yeah.
in the
It would have
mix,
been
that
much.
one bit,
Yes. Yep.
um, it would have made a big difference. It would have been like, oh shit, like that's a thing, it's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, um, Papa Joe's was excellent.
Yep.
It had a really kind. I thought it sounded like it had a very almost like a Prince-esque sort of vocals to it, with the harmonies and
Mm.
stuff like that, the close
Yeah.
harmonies.
Yeah. And it had a groove. Man, did that have a groove?
Yeah, I wrote funky bass with capital BASS.
Oh yeah. The nice slapping and popping bass was really really cool. But
Yeah,
yeah, it had a great vibe and a great groove.
yeah, and Christina's was super atmospheric and spooky,
Yep.
and she'd done a few things that I've not heard her do before. So she dipped her toe into a little bit of arrangement with brass and strings and stuff. And
Yeah.
I thought that was, and I like to see people doing something different. It doesn't mean you have to,
Yep.
but I thought that was very, very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
It was definitely her kind of experimenting and kind of stretching out beyond her comfort zone,
yeah,
which I thought was impressive that she felt that she could do that. That was a real sign of confidence. But then she actually pulled it off. I think
yeah.
it was a really
I,
good
I,
first
I,
effort.
I thought the use of, although technically it would breach the rules, Chris Baratner's use of dialogue in his, because it was a great arrangement and he
Yep.
used the dialogue perfectly. Like you could hear the dialogue all the way first. So he was basically thinking of it from, as you should do, dialogue first approach,
Yep.
which was very good. Um, Bobby Booth came in with a great entry this year as well.
Yeah.
Um, and Sean Aaron, again, loving the use of the different sounds. I think that's fantastic. And of course, um, Ron with his entry as well, absolutely amazing. And I think there's enough being said about Keith. He doesn't need an ego boost. He knows he's good.
Yeah. 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 I mean, Keith was up there for me. It was a real solid contender.
Yeah. Can anybody guess who we haven't mentioned yet?
Go on, have a guess, folks. See if you can figure out who it is. Yeah, Kyle, we're glad that Bobby submitted as well. Definitely. Very glad. Let's see if anybody can actually figure it out. The first one to get it right gets a right royal pat on the back.
Okay, I'll give you a clue. I'll give you a clue. If he was to play a character in a film, he would play Puss in Boots.
Yes, he would. Definitely.
Think Antonio Banderas. That's you can't have an easier clue than that.
Yeah, without giving it away.
Considering that we all spoke about where he's from as soon as he came onto the chat.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, there
Kyle
you go.
Wins.
There you go. Kyle gets the pat on the back. Well done, Kyle.
Yeah.
So, should we...
Juan is the winner of the 2020-2025 Halloween challenge.
Yep. I think that deserves a fanfare. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his new name, John Wiseman.
John Wiseman. Yeah.
He knows how to write a good song.
He does.
Production is not the be all and end all, but it was well produced. Incredible arrangement. I put in capitals and great English.
Yep.
It was a if you guys haven't gone and listened to that piece of music that he put up, it's killer.
It really is. It's absolutely outstanding. I loved every second of it. There were so many really, really good elements. I mean, the thing was, it did everything that we asked for in the brief, but he also picked up his bonus points for use of the scales. And really good use of the scales, actually. And, good use of the scales to develop chord changes. So he kind of used the scale as a mode for, not just the melodic element of the song, but also the chord changes. And man, those chord changes were absolutely killer. They were fantastic. The vibe was outstanding. And it did what we asked for, which was to scare the shit out of us. And it did.
Yeah. It was very, very, very just a cool piece of music as well. I mean, I'm sort of disaffected anyway as it is, so it's quite difficult to spook me. But yeah. It really was a good piece of music. And
yep.
I was looking on the workspace because I did read all of the sort of comments that you put alongside your music. And when I was looking at, because Juan sent me a message, because he was quite busy at the time with life and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he wrote here, I've been quite busy, so I've had to contact Rich to check out the rules and managed to do it in a single hour vocal recording session. The idea is about the inner world of schizophrenics who believe that his head is a circus and describes all the horrors that cross his mind. He's put here, it's not graphic, just psychological. And I tried to stay within the framework of the seventh mode of the melodic minor scale and included some harmonic arrangements without a specific tonal center.
Yep.
Everything was recorded in his home studio using Studio One version 6. So this is going to be an upgrade time for Juan.
Yep.
Best regards to everyone, and I hope you're all doing well. That was JW's message when he uploaded his song. So yeah, he hit the brief, he got the bonus points.
Yep.
And he wins. So, so now he can say he's a Songwriting Simplified challenge winner.
Yeah, he can join the
Unfortunately, there's no
little...
trophies, but I will be getting you Studio One Pro Plus. So you have that for a whole year. And of course, you'll now have Studio One 7 and, whatever comes out at the time that year subscription ends, the perpetual license of that particular version will be yours forever.
Yep.
And well done. Well deserved.
Very well deserved.
Can't believe what you pulled out of your ass so quickly.
It is incredible.
But there is another winner.
Yes. Should we build that one up a bit as well, Rich?
Well, should we skirt around it, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah. So we were talking obviously about Fran hitting the points for the scale. He did everything right in regards to that. So he got his bonus points, which carried him across the finish line in first place. But there were some other people that were able to kind of hit that as well, which I was very, pleased to see as well. Obviously, Keith had a lot of fun with, the whole tone element of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was good to see. There's... Can we skirt around it too much? I don't know. Yeah, there was somebody else that actually nailed it, and they did it effortlessly.
Yes.
Or at least they made it sound effortless. And that was Ron.
Yes, indeedy.
So Ron hit the brief as well, but he did it. He probably did it with one bloody hand, didn't he? No. So as part of the challenge, obviously I'd spoken with Lucas Rashidska, who is the S1 Toolbox guy, as I'm sure you know.
Yep.
And if you don't know, I will put his website in the chat, because there's a bunch of tutorials and scripts and all sorts of really cool things on that website. It's a great repository for things. I'll link to the tutorials as well, because it's not just Lucas's tutorials, it's Gregor's, Jonny's, mine, people like Max Conyi,
Yep.
Lucas of course. There's a bunch of tutorials that you'll find on there from Tim Talks Audio. So it's a good place to find specific tutorials on specific things, which when it comes to songwriting, these could be really invaluable to you. Yeah, so Lucas is giving away Harmony Wizard,
Yep.
And that is going to Ron, which I know he likes harmony, and I know he likes to obsess is probably a strong word, but he likes to get things right and he likes to figure things out.
Yeah.
And I think it's well deserved for actually hitting the brief.
Yeah, Ron's was the piano piece, the solo piano piece, which, as Rich has alluded to, I think takes an awful lot of confidence just to go, I'm just going to do something that just is a solo instrument. Did it incredibly effectively. And I think the thing that really got me about the piece was not only was it sparse, but in terms of it was just a solo instrument, but there was a terrific use of space and, the notes that aren't played being as important as the notes that were. actually played, because they both contributed to the sense of the tension of the piece between notes played, space, notes played. And I thought that was terrific because, a lot of people, when they're making music, they don't leave an awful lot of space. Space is becoming a thing that is not fashionable anymore as a method of contrast between elements and absence of elements. It is a genuine contrast, like the difference between black and white. To have space, to have nothing for a certain period of time in your music. And I thought Ron did that with great gusto and made it as important as the notes that were played. Very, very well done.
For sure. I mean, I think everyone's sort of well aware that Ron's got some chops when it comes to playing. And certainly, pulling songs apart and being able to essentially replicate them. He's a working musician as well. So that's I'm sure all of you out there as musicians, it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult world to live in. Yet he pulls it off, and does a great job. And it's a small thing, but it's deserved. And that's many thanks to Lucas Rashidska for that as well.
Yeah, from definitely. Big thanks to Lucas.
Absolute. So he's been a strong supporter of the challenges, and has always offered help or anything with prizes and things like that in the past. So
yeah, he's a big supporter of the channel. He's a big supporter of both Rich and myself, which we are very grateful for. Support is always a good thing, and support of somebody like Lucas is a very, very good thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good free things that you can get over at Lucas's website as well. He does have scripts that you can download. You're not going to get them anywhere else. He's the only person that really makes these.
Yep.
So if you want something for Studio One that's going to give you a little bit more of an edge, something that somebody else doesn't have, then go and get things like navigation essentials and scoring tools. And if you want to support him, go get Harmony Wizard. Because it's pretty cool what it can do. And there's been some updates to scoring tools recently as well. So that's something to point out. Just one thing as well in regards to the workspace.
Oh yes, good point.
The workspace this time round it's going to be canned, so we're not going to reuse it anymore. Okay. There is so we're at about 2 gigabytes worth of sound sets. That's instruments for presence, presets for Mai Tai, sound effects, Foley, all that kind of stuff that I've created over the years. Go and download it now, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Yep.
So we'll give it, I guess, like 48 hours.
Yep.
Give everybody time to, get their, if they want their songs, get them downloaded, backed up or whatever. I'll be backing everything up myself from the workspace. Keep everything safe just in case you ever lose anything. But the workspace itself will be closed down, so nobody will be able to go back there after 48 hours. And Christmas will be a whole new one.
Whole new workspace. Yep. And so we'll be starting that afresh, and we'll be announcing that very, very soon. So if stay tuned, be subscribed. And that's the best way you're going to get.
I strongly recommend that if you've submitted a song, a remix, a mix, or whatever it happens to be, if you've submitted anything to the workspace, I appreciate that it's a lot safer. It feels a lot easier within the workspace because it's just us guys and girls talking about the music that we've written and stuff like that. but the world should hear it, and you should send
100%.
it over to Keith to play on Radio Top Trumpet.
Yep, link for that is coming up. And I 100% agree. The world needs to hear these entries, definitely. So we would absolutely. I could not agree more with what Rich has just said. Get your music over to Keith. And I think Keith would be delighted to have some more new tunes for his rotation. And particularly for this particular season, I'm sure he'll get them into heavy rotation for a few days, for sure. Yeah, so your 48 hours starts now. Yep.
Jaren, the remix that you did as well, it is your music. I don't know if you missed the first video, but everything that I upload to the workspace, including any music that I've written for the Halloween or Christmas challenge, it's copyright free. It's the world's music. It doesn't matter. So you can claim it was your own. It doesn't matter. I'm not sending the suits after you.
Now, quick, go make yourself incredibly rich off of that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. Need a lot of luck.
Yeah. So this has been a very, very terrific Halloween challenge once again. I've been blown away by standards again. I thought we'd hit a peak last time, but yeah, we've discovered that there's another peak beyond it. So I'm very excited to see what you guys are going to pull off for the Christmas challenge. I'm very excited about the Christmas challenge already. But details of that will be coming up very soon. So stick around. If you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button now. And stick around. Make sure you come along to Songwriting Simplified on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Central, always 6 p.m. Central, whether clocks go backward, forward, sideways, upside down, or otherwise. Even if time starts running backwards, it will always be 6 p.m. Central. That's when this show is, and the same goes for Sunday Night Live. But this show is where the challenges take place and where they are discussed and talked about, rather than on Sundays. So if you want to be a part of the Christmas challenge, stick around, because details of that will come up very, very soon. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be really, really good. I think possibly the best Christmas challenge we've done yet, my opinion. Possibly the most challenging. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And do tell your friends about this.
Definitely. The more we can get involved, the merrier, for everybody. Not just for me and my channel, but for everybody, because it means everybody gets the chance to improve and become a better composer, arranger, remixer, songwriter, which is what this is all about. Yeah. That's why I do what I do. It's why Rich does what he does. And once again, a massive thank you to you, Rich, for your sponsorship of these challenges over the last 3 or so years. It's been incredible. It's been incredibly valuable to this whole community. It's been incredibly valuable to me. And I thank you very much for all you've brought to Jonny Lipsham Studios and to this little community. It's terrific. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no bother. Just everybody that hasn't, or maybe you don't know what is in it, but go to the workspace if you're in it. Go to the files tab. There's a big folder called free stuff to download, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sound sets, impact drums, sound effects, presets, big film sounds, that sort of stuff. Go and grab it, and there's a couple of quirky little effects chains in there as well. So just go and grab them, and if you don't keep them because you don't like them, Well, that's fine, isn't it? But they won't be there in 48 hours from 5 minutes ago.
From 5 minutes ago, yeah. So 48 hours and 47 hours and 55 minutes. And then that workspace will get nuked. So go grab that stuff, as Rich says, because it's important. And send your songs over to Keith at Radio Top Trumpet so that he can add them to his Halloween rotation and get your music sent over there.
Yeah.
So that he can have a terrific show.
Yeah, if you give me a couple of seconds, let's have a look here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link to post your song to Keith.
Yep.
So that's it. So it's near tail. Okay.
There you go. Make sure you copy that link, folks, so you can get them submitted over there. So Absolutely. We are going to close out in a minute or two. But just by way of wrapping this whole thing up, I want to thank every single one of you that has entered, that has submitted, that has encouraged other people in the workspace, because you guys have been terrific over there. I've been watching the commentary over the last few weeks and studiously been avoiding listening to anything, but I've been seeing how you guys have been discussing each other's work and encouraging each other over there. This little community in the workspace is brilliant, and you guys have been so good and so kind and supportive to each other. There's not really been any sense of competition over there. It's great, and that is the kind of thing that I want to see, and we have seen in every one of these challenges. But yeah, it's been really, really great this time. So thank you very much to everybody that took part. And if you didn't take part this time,
I want to see next time at Christmas. I want to see more people sending me their links where I can buy their music.
Wow, that's a big offer from Rich. So he's already said that he wants to do this for those that took part in Halloween. So you need to reach out to Rich and get your links over there, and he will go buy your music. And for Christmas, I think that's breaking news. It's going to do the same. That's very, very cool. And thank you, Rich, for posting the link to my PayPal. I appreciate that a lot. That's very kind. And if you would like to make a small little donation, or any donation of any kind, you can do so over there. I would appreciate it considerably. So have you got anything else you want to say, Rich?
I'm still trying to work out Secret Squirrel's question. I mean, what does a donut weigh? He's written 48 hours from 5 minutes ago, when the evolution of the sun is unwitnessed due to an eclipse and the flux capacitor hits 88 kilometers per hour simultaneously. What does a donut weigh?
Is that an unladen donut or a plain donut? Is that a donut with a hole or without a hole?
I don't think I know the answer either way. I ain't gonna lie. Bravo, everybody.
Yeah, bravo, everybody. I think that's a great way to end the show. So we will finish off. Actually, I'm going to play a little piece of music, which if I had not taken part, it would have been my entry. And it's only just about 3 minutes and a bit. So we'll finish with that. And then that'll be it. And I will be back here on Friday for the UK Studio One meetup, which will be happening on Halloween for the first time, I think, in 5 years. So that's going to be pretty cool. So if you want to come join us for that, please do bring a scary Halloween type mask or something of that ilk. Something Halloween orientated. If you want to do the whole fancy dress thing, you can do that. That would be fun if you want to do that. and bring your beers / wine / whatever beverage you like to drink. And yes, we will talk Studio One, and we'll talk music and music making and what we want to see in Studio One in the future. But we will also have an absolute blast as well. And who knows, we may go on late into the wee small hours of Saturday morning. So until then, folks, I bid you all a very, very good evening. And here comes the music. Good night, everybody.